Hello and welcome to Tug of Heart. This is Lori. I'm here with Leroy. Hi, Leroy.
Hey,
Day.
buenos años.
Yes. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Lori.
Yes, this is going to be a good one. We have determined for ourselves that we want it to. And as a matter of fact, that's what we're going to talk about today is having a heart of determination. And the way this came about is, at the end of the year, you look at the previous year, and I mean, why do we even acknowledge a change in year? I mean, it's not just so, like expiration dates or to know so your computer knows how to do stuff, but there's other reasons that people take a look at the past year to learn from it, and also to do something about that festive heart. Remember, we were talking over the holidays
Mhm.
about having a festive heart where you set aside time to kind of be who you are when you have this opening set aside to do things you want to do or would like to do that you don't do normally. And I think after you get to experience that, you can kind of make a choice. And in the new year, to me, is such a great time to do it. Um, so why the new year? It's just an opportunity for reflection, and it's a good time to take a look at who we are, and who we are comes from what we think, like you said last time, right? We are what we think. And to me, that means that habitual thoughts make us creatures of habit. Now, the reason I say that is because I feel like at the beginning of the year, we have this chance to kind of have a clean slate, if you will. So there's this phrase, Leroy, and it's called tabula rasa. Okay. And it's this idea that this is who we are when we're born. It's the absence of preconceived ideas. Um, so I don't even know if I believe it or not, but I like the thought of this for New Year's. And it's this idea that the human mind at birth doesn't have innate ideas. We only have our experience, and like you were saying last time, our perception of that, and that from that uh, is our knowledge. Well, I think at the beginning of the year gives us a chance to kind of start, just kind of clear some preconceptions, such as COVID really sucks. We're never going to get through this. I can't do anything while I've been in lockdown. Just a lot of stuff that can seem to take away kind of our freedom to do what we want, or to kind of become who we ultimately should be, like we kind of started talking about um, on the last show. So the end of a year is such a good time to review and assess ourselves, where we are. Uh, Secularly, you can look at your financial situation, your schedule, what you would like to do more in terms of accomplishment, but also we can't leave out the heart, especially for us. That has to matter at least to show up here, right? And it's a good time to kind of set things straight so that you have this chance to get that slate. And that can be, I don't know, if you've borrowed something, a tool from a neighbor, return it, pay your debts, take a look at your shortcomings, how you're going to work on it, forgive people, ask for forgiveness, and like make peace, reconcile with people, and learn from the previous year what needed to be learned. But apart from that, just kind of start anew without what you were talking about. Not to say that the work is removed, but to start without feeling the weight of those bricks that you didn't unpack. It's a good chance to say, hey, I want to do this. No, we won't always make it, but let's have a go and try. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I know it sounds a little all over the place, but that there's a lot to look at from the previous year and into the next.
I'm going to be 100% honest with you, and I'm going to probably embarrass myself a little bit because I had a mildly different approach when you first brought this to me.
Of course you did.
And naturally. So I thought for 2022, because you said, oh, it's a new year, heart determination. Um, and immediately I said to myself, we don't have to solve it all.
Right.
We do this in a very, I'm going to go ahead and use the word methodical because it makes us sound like we know what we're doing. But we do this just one 40-minute segment at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So what I thought is like, what I need is, instead of looking at things like, wow, I've got so much to solve, so much to soothe, so much relief I need to put out there as well as accept. And so then I said, you know what? Great word, 2 meanings. Let's determine where to place our determination.
Oh, nice. And cancel out.
I'm sorry. The beginning of your sentence is far more important than the middle of mine. But
no, not in this case.
And Lori, there's something about that, because when we're talking about heart determination has got its boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
And it is good in as far as we can control it, direct it, apply it. I think its value is diminished because you can't be determined at everything. We're just people. So that's why I said determine where to apply determination.
Right.
And that's really all I got. That's the only thing that came to me, Lori. Like the rest of the show, I'm just going to sit here quiet. It's all on you.
Well, when you're saying about determine where to be determined, I think that falls clearly into what's within the power of our control and what's not. And so part of determination is determining what things press upon us that are coming from the outside world, and we don't want to struggle so much with that, but instead look at our part, our heart, and what we're doing, and separating the two, so that we're not trying to because it's difficult to change ourselves, very difficult. It's impossible to rearrange the whole world for us. So when we have to decide, the decision is what we can control. And for me, I said, we are what we think. I think our steps moving through, or moving forward, let's say, it always comes back to controlling first our thoughts.
So I've been trying to fine tune it over several things, and I think I have it now. When I say that this podcast is about two twins, two siblings, in that middle life part where we are sifting, sorting, soothing, and solving.
Mm-hmm.
So determining, and so now I think in my head, because it's just my modus operandi, so I batch things because I have to determine what requires the most immediate attention.
Right.
Because if we can't sift and batch things, then we can't sort them and we can't soothe them or solve them. Does that make any sense to you, Lori?
Actually, because that's a weakness for me. So I like that you're saying that, because I fall short there. So tell me more.
So I just, when you brought this up, and I'm thinking now, I think that when you say determination, heart determination, and I say determine what requires determination. So now I think we have to introduce another word, a third word:
Okay.
prioritize.
Yes.
Because we just came off a conversation about um, the welcome wound. You can't take all the wounds at one time. And let
Right.
me tell you something. If there are people that do not relate to what I'm about to say, God bless you. But we're broken, all of us, in our own ways. You can even be broken in your pride.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So you have to prioritize, like, where do I put this determination? I
Right.
like that you said heart determination, because I always struggle with that, which apparently tells me that I've gone a long time without really being in and of my heart. I've just kind of been, I don't want to say hedonistic because I don't like that word, but I just haven't really probably been in touch with my heart as responsibly as I should be or should have been. But certainly I'm making an attempt to be more in touch with that. And I'm determined. I'm determined. This is one overall push for me. I am going to put forth a generous amount of my determination to be more in touch with my heart, to feel more.
Right.
I got to be honest. One of the things, and I'm determined to stick with a few things that have worked for me over the previous podcast, and that is I'm determined to be more vulnerable.
Nice. That's actually beautiful.
There's an incredible amount of strength and hitch in your giddy up, if you will. There's something just mind blowingly powerful about just kind of putting it out there. Hey,
It,
I got a problem. I'm weak, and just
oh,
kind of putting it out there. I
good for you.
like that.
Good for you. And that's where I find that a lot of strength lies, or potential for strength is in, like, when I can't be strong in, or what feels like not strong enough for something, I try to think, okay, then what I can be strong about in any given moment that doesn't take kind of a building up of strength is recognizing my weakness, and how to operate within that. Know thyself, right? And that's tough because we lie to ourselves, which I didn't realize until you had actually introduced that idea. And that's one we probably have to revisit in this context of
Living the lie.
but now we will probably have to uh bring it back in the context of vulnerability. We mentioned it briefly, but it was kind of like an overview. You were talking about the third word, which is prioritizing. And I think when we move into a new time, that's like a new marked time, or just a time we choose, but just to move into a new time, we do this, like you said, with the prioritizing, by understanding that our life is shaped by our mind and our heart. And so when we want to have a certain amount of control in moving forward into this new year, we are talking not about controlling the world, but self control. And so the prioritizing has to be specifically about that. And that speaks to our ability to make choices and manage our own life, right? And that affects our well being more than anything that can happen outside of us. And that's why I like that you're putting the focus on a kind of examination, though you haven't said that word. When you don't you think like that's kind of what you're headed towards?
That's a good word, because examination
That's what I keep saying.
brings forth thoughts of doctors' offices and microscopes
Yeah, that's what you're saying though, because to find those weak spots.
with equal importance, but it requires a generous determination,
Mm-hmm.
and it's weird because the
Methodical.
more we talk, now it's determination, now it's prioritized, and now it's
Let's play connect the word.
analyze,
Yes.
analyze,
Yeah.
and so we go through this and it just kind of unfolds, but I think that one of the good things is that it's a new year. And while we don't have it figured out yet, we are better prepared now to put forth determination.
Yes.
Simply because you said, well, recognizing that you need it is a start.
Yep.
Understanding that, hey, we're gonna have to be a little bit, this is not going to be easy. This is going to require determination, commitment, prioritizing. I like it. This is good. This is way better than it was when you first told me, because I didn't understand it,
I'm going to tell
Thank you.
you, I just wrote this down. I scribbled what you said because I could see that you were doing this sick building. But like many things that my backward brother does, um, you sometimes reverse build, which is fine. That's a good sign of intelligence. But I'm going to read to you a few of your thoughts in backwards order, and I just kind of scribbled some words to fuse it because I love how this sounds. Okay, so this is like you're reversing what you just said. So you ended with the doctor here. So without that analyzing, we're unaware of what's in there. Okay. This is the last thing you said. Then from that, without that awareness, we're we're not, we don't have that vulnerability. Without vulnerability, we don't know what we don't have control of. And without self-control, we are unwell. I just said backwards the last few things you said, but how do you like that build up? That's why
Yeah.
the need for the work, right?
Behold, look what I've created. That's funny. And I mean, because that takes me back to last year about perspective,
Yeah.
like listen, organize,
Yeah.
prioritize.
I just renumbered your thoughts and kind of made a case for why we need to prioritize that idea of self-control and self-determination, because without it, we become victims, because we're saying what happens to me is not within my control. And I do believe that is a good definition for a victim, but victim of what or whom, because it can even be of our own refusal to exercise some type of self-determination. And a lot of times we won't call it that. We will rename it because of that um, embarrassment and stigma attached to it. So we will gladly call it something else. I will gladly say it's because my brother did this. And instead of saying, in my own self-determination, I'm going to work on being well with what I can control.
Well put.
Thank you.
You didn't
And
have to use me as an example, but
I,
well.
yeah. Well, it's, and that's the thing too, because last time we were talking about the welcome wound, and I think that ties in nicely to this, because um, it's acknowledging that you are wounded, and it's being proactive in the healing so that you can be um, stronger, better, and just more complete and more who you ought to be. Because to not do it is, to go back to it's the verse. It's the difference of self determination versus predetermination. The born loser. Do you remember our dad used to say, "I'm just the born loser"? Do you remember the comic strip?
I do not.
So there's this comic strip, The Born Loser, and this guy, like, it something happens and it always ends up just kind of negative for him. Like, he's just born to lose. And I replay this in my head as an adult, and there's times that I've actually tapped into it in not such a good way, but I can remember dad told me a few times, when I was already an adult, he was like, I feel like that comic strip sometime, I'm a born loser, as if um there was this like a predetermination that he just would be like this, and he had no say in the matter of how his life would play out. Listen, be that as it may, we're a generation past, and it's like we get this chance to correct a lot of things for a lot of people, even our parents to some extent, and we do that by digging deep in the heart, coming clean with it, and saying, I want better for me. I want better for my lineage, even. I want healing for the whole lineage. And I do this by not saying, I'm a born loser. I do this not by saying, this is my life is going to be ruined until you never did that to me, mom or dad. Life doesn't work like that. Here we are. They've both passed. They can't correct stuff. So I'm looking at you, you're looking at me. What do we do today? And I'm asking you this, and I guess talk some just off the top of your head about that. What do we do? We're left without them being able to mend certain things. So linking the wound, the welcome wound, how would we welcome that wound and a new year and some kind of enthusiasm for it? Here we are without certain pieces. What do we do?
Two things, Lori. Mm-hmm. One is that the welcome wound is it's a new idea.
Right.
Okay? And the truth is that that's a bridge too long.
Okay. So
we can't really welcome the wound. I mean, I think it's very noble and almost romantic to say, like, yeah, I welcome the wounds of life's lessons. I mean, nobody does. Like, really? That's crazy. But we understand that there is a benefit. We acknowledge that there will be wounds.
Right.
We acknowledge that perseverance is a fact. We understand that we can participate in what that product of the experience looks like. But to just say, welcome wound, I mean, that's only after the wound is healed that you can say, oh, yeah, I welcome that wound.
Yeah, because it's like saying...
However, there's definitely a lot to be said about, Dad used to say, life, 10% what you make it, 90% how you take it.
Right.
10% what you make it, 90% how you take it. Now, we may have more than a 10% impact on it. And by that, I mean 10% what you make it encompasses the 90% how you take it. So I mean, it's a whole, because we can choose how we can have a determination to accept adversity as well as celebration, because we're talking about bad stuff, healing, hurt, scars, this, that, the other. But we should all be more determined during the celebratory periods. Mm-hmm. We should be determined to acknowledge the changing of the seasons, the colors of the trees.
Aww, yeah.
The triumph in cutting your lawn. We should appreciate those things with the same determination, or at least have the determination to acknowledge success in as much as we acknowledge challenge.
Right. So you don't want to get caught up in like self-flagellation because you've redefined it as like the act of a hero or a champ, right?
Well, determination is universal.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't apply it evenly,
right.
I mean, how are you going to, how are you going to keep it all, how would it all make sense? I mean, we're not just here to to discuss amongst each other, like, wow, hardship and this. And we spend a lot of time talking about that because those are the things that slow us down. However, determination is one of the things that needs to be forward in that prioritizing. Like, we
Nice.
can't just sit and revel, or we become creatures of habit and we're like, yeah, well, we're just, okay, now what do we work on now? No, you don't have to work on anything right now. What you have to do is you have to go out and light that barbecue. That's what
Yep.
you need to do. You need to, like, we've done enough healing for today,
Right. Enjoy.
for this week, for this month, for this year. Like, we didn't, like, let's go out and have a good time. And
So
and
2022 is done.
what's that?
So 2022, our work's done.
No, I was referring to the end of 2021.
Okay, couple things. First of all, I really messed up many years because I heard 10% make it, 90% fake it. Um, I have some fixing to do.
Perception.
The other thing that I took away from what you're saying is we want to recognize our wounds, but we don't have to like dive in so like almost suicidally to where we self combust in our wounds to be like, there, I addressed it, right? And this is huge. What you said about, joking aside, that we accept adversity, but we also accept when things are nice and the good in life equally. We don't, um, because one of the things that I actually say this about Americans, I don't know if this is just about humans, but I notice this in America, especially, of course, with my experience here. I always say that we are a nation of overcorrectors. So when we see something just a little bit, we overcorrect, and we're always about to have a car accident, if you would call life a highway, with our overcorrecting, which I was just falling into because I was saying, oh, we're self-determined and we're going to tackle it all. And you're like, whoa, 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 as it comes, and just a little gentle correction. Don't just like swerve that car into the other ditch to avoid one, because it's
I
down.
never want to, I never want to become so good at dealing with adversity that I seek it. You know,
No, yeah,
I want to have, I want to have the determination to identify when it's good.
yes. I'm going to add to that with the accepting adversity, because one of the things that I say when it comes to predetermination and destiny, I don't believe in any destiny in life like that you're destined to be a born loser or anything like that, except one destiny that we all face. And that's this adversity. Um, and more specifically, I've said this before once on another show. I believe the one destiny that awaits every single one of us is what we fear most in life. We will have to face it at some point.
And that's okay.
Yeah. Now I mean, I don't want to, but but I think I have maybe, but
There's something that I haven't said in a long time, Lori, and that is, like, when we have these conversations, we're not the authority. Make no
no,
mistake about it.
right.
And I haven't said that in a very, very long time. And you're right. And the truth is, there isn't there isn't a wrong way to cope.
Right.
If the spirit is moving us towards a healthier heart, a healthier understanding, a better, just a better experience when we get up the next day. The recipes are personalized. It's like,
Right.
I remember one time I did a little bit of back talking to to uh, to somebody that was like, they read a new book and they're like, okay, here's what I got. Here's the information I got, and here's what we're going to implement. And okay, like, now we're going to fix things.
Now I got it. Yeah.
And I said, do you like reading? Yeah, yeah, yeah. What about when you read a book that's a little bit different? You know, it's like, you have to kind of figure out what's organic within. like what exactly am, and what are my needs? And that's why I just wanted to reiterate that, because we don't got it figured out.
Yeah, no, we don't
For
have.
some people, there's going to be comedic value in our conversation. For other people, there will be some things that they can maybe identify with. For other people, there will be opposition.
A mark of what they don't want to be, which is okay. We serve a purpose.
But all of it's okay. I mean, you got to have benchmarks, And
Right.
if the benchmark is like, I don't want to be like those two, well, then that's a good benchmark to have.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
so I think that's good. I think that's good stuff. Determination. But listen, we're not going to tell you what to be determined about, but by God, have some determination, because without determination, we'll wane.
We'll stay in that holding pattern.
Yeah. I mean, and we need to emphasize certain attempts in life. They require determination, because remember that maybe when I was talking to you during the last podcast, it wasn't, I said something, that the healing was found in the attempt. The attempt was the solution. It wasn't breaking a 9-minute mile. It wasn't this. I mean, there wasn't, what it was attempting it. And the determination to continue attempting it. So today I'm better, but I'm still attempting it through determination.
But what did you say also, that the salve, the ointment, is the attempt?
Yeah.
Can you just repeat how you had said that? Because to me, that was my takeaway, where I find comfort in that.
You just said it. You
It's
said
just
it
okay. I didn't
verbatim. I mean, the salve is what I said. The salve is the attempt.
right.
Or the attempt is,
Like some kind of alleviation of human discomfort, right?
Yeah. Now, if you recognize that the attempt is the salve, then the only thing that would lead to, a very systematic healing would be to introduce determination, continue to apply the salve,
Yeah. And I don't know, I don't think I don't have strong determination. So this is going to be a challenging year for me. I'm not a super determined person. So, I mean,
I got good news for you.
you have to hold my hand a little bit, because
I have excellent news for you. Here you are.
Yeah, right.
So there's a level of determination.
Yeah. And I will say, showing up with you for something is, you need not pack determination. I've done one of those holy walks for miles with a cracked something or other, a torn ligament. I didn't need the determination. I got dragged.
I am the de facto determination in your life. You don't need it. I have it.
And right back at you. I'm your conscience.
Yeah, you are. Ooh, ouch. But I like it.
We get there together too, which I think is a good takeaway. Leroy, this is a good way. I mean, we're a little bit all over the place, but I think the heart's right for the start of the year, that this is going to be a year, hopefully, of self-determination, not just waiting to see what happens to us, but instead saying, I am deciding what will happen to me, and I am deciding the course of my life through choice. And like you said, the baby step of that would be, I choose to acknowledge I have some say in my life. That's a good start. Just say it. I'm not telling you to say it, but I mean, like a person can just say, I want to have some say in what's happening in my life. I want to have some say, because one of the things that happens a lot of times is we do good, we do bad. A lot of times we do good and bad, and I don't even know that we feel like we had a whole lot of say in it. It just kind of happened.
Mm-hmm.
If we know good is good, why don't we do good all the time? Because we haven't necessarily exercised that say. So for me, it's more than a week's worth of thinking. But my thought this week is just going to be, I have a say in how I behave and how my life is somewhat. I'm going to think about that and what that, not even how I'm going to go about it, but what that means, because it means a lot, right?
And then introduce the determination
Right.
to declare your existence and your right to do what's good for your heart.
Right.
You
it's
own
like
it.
self-proclamation. I claim myself, reclaim myself in
Yeah.
2022.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of this segment, Lauren.
Thank you.
Great, great topic.
Yeah, I mean, now we just have to decide how to, where to go from here and how to break it up and move forward. But for now, plenty to think about for the week. Happy New Year, Leroy.
Happy
Very
New Year,
happy.
Lauren.
I'm happy. I'm with you for the year, my bestie. I feel stronger when I'm with you. I always say that. And
Thank
thank
you, Lori. I do too. Everybody who's out there listening, thank you for tuning in. Thank
yeah.
you, Strong Island. Thank you for believing in us to air another podcast.
Thanks, Bobby. Happy New Year again.
Adios.
Adios.